Okay, boys and girls, hello. It's Mr. K again. Good morning, 8th graders. Hope you're well. Hope you were able to experiment with some of the castle designs yesterday. Hopefully your piece looks similar to what I have here. It doesn't have to be exact, but as long as you're following along as closely and as best you can and putting forth a great effort, that's all I can ask for. So without further ado, let's continue our castle design today. Okay, again, number 2 pencil, large pink eraser. Probably use my ruler again in spots. Okay, hopefully you found something that works for you, either a ruler or a straight edge of a book or a piece of cardboard or any type of plastic object that has a straight edge from which you can work some straight lines will be just fine. Okay? Alright, so reviewing yesterday's design, we worked on 3 separate tower structures that will belong to the castle. And what we're going to do today is further enhance our image and move forward with a little more detail. Alright, so let's get started on doing that, okay? Alright, so continuing our design, what I'd like to do is this. I'd like to reference this hill that we put in yesterday, and it's okay to go back and add more gestural lines as you're mapping out your image. It's something that I do all the time, and I'm continually reworking and refining my picture to make it look a little bit sharper and better along the way. Okay, so if you recall, yesterday we had this line here between these 2 towers that I think I had mentioned was going to eventually become part of a castle wall. Okay, so just beneath that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in another little structure here that will represent another part to the castle. Okay, straight line here in front of this middle tower, and what I do when I get to the front of this wall space here is I bump it up and over a little bit, down, straight across in front of this 3rd tower, about halfway across that 3rd tower, and then what I'll do is I'll work another angle this way. I'll try to stay in line with this first little bump that we had there. I'll work this structure not entirely off the page, but close to the edge of the page. It extends further than this tower. It'll bump down just a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of extend a 3-dimensional looking wall this direction, down towards the hillside. Okay, and here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to start with a little straight piece there. Moving forward from that straight piece will be 2 diagonal lines. And as you can see, this is going to be the flat part to the top of that wall there. I'll close it off like this. And then what I'll do is I'll work it down into that hillside a little bit. Okay? Let's give it a back end here also. Okay, so it kind of looks like a rectangular table there with some legs coming down. Okay? We're going to do a similar design over here on this 1st tower. Okay? I had taken away that reference line from yesterday, but I'm gonna put back just a little bit of an extension of it so we can use it as a reference point. And I'll again go back and erase those lines once we're done. But just beneath that reference there, I'm going to go with another little dash mark there that we're going to turn into, again, a 3-dimensional piece to a structure that juts out from the tower. Okay? So from that dash, 2 angled lines working towards the bottom of the tower. We'll square it off like that. We'll pull down the front just like we did over here. And then the back edge will be a little different. It comes down straight initially, and then what we'll do is we'll curve it a little bit towards this front part. Okay? Alright. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that little reference mark, that light mark that I had put there earlier. We'll clean up those towers once again. Okay, now here's what we're going to do. We're going to refine this front wall just a little bit. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add another piece right about there. Okay. And this original line that's slanted back towards this first tower a little bit, what I'm going to do is, instead of it slanting up, I'm going to adapt it and slant it a little bit this way. Because what I want it to look like is that this is the peak of one of the castle walls. Okay, so that was the original line. I'm going to veer off of it a little bit and extend it downward. Okay, and when I extend it downward, I'm going to erase that original gestural line that we put in there yesterday. Okay, alright, now before I add some decorative pieces there to the top, here's what I'm going to do. This little piece that we put in here earlier, as you can see, it kind of went in front of this castle wall and these two towers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this line, and this line to give it a little more perspective. So this will be closer to the front, this will fade onto the back, this will fade to the back. This tower here will also fade to the back. Okay, and if you accidentally erased some of those lines, you can put them back. Okay. Alright, sorry about that, my phone was ringing. Still is. I apologize for any buzzing. Okay, it'll stop soon, hopefully. Alright, now back to this decorative piece here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add an extra edge here and also here, keeping in mind the concept of parallel lines. So these two lines follow the same path. These two lines follow the same path. Within those lines, we're going to give the impression of some stone blocks being in there. So I'm going to put little vertical lines separating the top edge of that wall into some block-looking structures. Okay, stone, block, whatever you want to call it. Okay, all right, hopefully you're able to follow along here. Hopefully you're having a good time. Okay, do a couple more things here before we're done for the day. I'm trying to keep each video down to about 10 or 12 minutes. I figure it'll take you that long to watch the video initially, and then of course you'll stop and start it as you're drawing your version of the castle. So I try to keep your drawing to about 20 or 25 minutes per day. I don't want you guys spending too much time on your art so that you don't have so that you don't have enough time to do your other projects. I know you guys probably have multiple assignments every single day, so I try to keep the artistic tasks down to about 20-25 minutes or so per day. Okay, so I don't want to make this video too much longer. If if we get to Wednesday and we're not quite done tomorrow, I can actually make a fourth portion to the video on Thursday if need be, but we'll see what happens. Okay. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. Over here on this third tower that we had drawn, we're going to change it a little bit, and within it, what we're actually going to do is we're going to create a different type of an arrangement at the top, different from this piece that we put on our first tower. Okay, this particular tower is going to have kind of a slanted top to it. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm kind of drawing, it's a triangular type movement, but there's no pointed top there. I think eventually we'll put some flags and other structures up there, but what I've done is, if you can imagine it, I've drawn a triangle. Kind of looks like an isosceles triangle without the tip because the sides are kind of equal. Okay, we'll give it a flat bottom for now, although I might have you guys adjust that down the road a ways, okay? But we'll keep it as a flat bottom for right now. On the sides of that structure, we got a little bit of a straight edge on each side of that flat bottom. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick it in a little bit on each side with a little angled piece. And then that angled piece is going to bring us down, down, down like this, meeting up with this particular castle wall. This side will go the whole way down over here, and it'll disappear behind this particular portion of the castle. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it another little edge right about here. And that edge is going to kind of have a J-like movement towards the bottom. And we're going to bring that down as well. Right about here. And I'm trying to stay in line and not drawing these vertical lines too much further down. I'm trying to stay in line with this original castle wall design right about here. Okay? Now what I'm going to do with this line here is I'm going to extend it over just a little bit, and these two lines are going to meet at kind of like a right angle. Okay? Alright, so let's see here. Before we use a ruler on any of these lines that we set up, remember I told you this flat bottom here, we might adapt it a little bit. What I might do is bring this up, just to give it a little perspective. I'm going to bring this edge up just a little bit above that bottom of the triangle, and we're going to give it a little bit of perspective. We're going to slant a line up like this. This will be kind of like a peak, and then we'll slant it over like this. So you can see it gives us kind of like a three-dimensional appearance to this particular tower structure. Okay, now here's what I'm going to do before I get my ruler. I'm going to eliminate the original tower lines, the gestural lines that we sharpened with a ruler. I'm going to eliminate some of them because we've adapted that particular tower. Sorry, here I'm erasing left-handed on the left-hand side of my page. So it's not quite a natural movement for me. I'm just doing the best I can. Bear with me. Okay. Alrighty. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to sharpen up some of these lines, make them a little bit straighter. Again, they don't have to be perfect, but ruler gives you a nice straight edge, gives your drawing a nice little finished look to it. Notice I turned my paper a little bit. You can do that. Hopefully it's still under the camera for you. Okay, let me put it back. Yeah, I think it still is. Okay. Alright, let me sharpen up these sides here. This makes us feel like architects a little bit. Doing some architectural design, which is really kind of fun. And like I said, I hope these art lessons are keeping you occupied and giving you something to do while we're away from regular school. Gonna sharpen this line here. Go back with my ruler, put some straight edges in there. Clean things up. Hopefully when we sharpen these lines, it'll enhance the perspective of the drawing. I think it does. And I think it looks real nice. Okay. Right about there. Oh, let me go a little bit further. Okay. There we go. Sharpen up these lines a little bit. If you remember from the story, the king who lived in the castle was not real well liked. There were rumors abounding throughout the kingdom that he was kind of mean and ruthless. And I think you recall Adrian van der Welde was summoned to the castle because word was spreading of his artistic talent and skill. And if you recall, he was particularly skilled in the portraiture department. He was very good at painting portraits. And word spread to the royal castle because the chef from the story very much enjoyed the portrait that Adrian had done of him. He went back to the castle, shared the portrait with some of the folks who were also on the royal staff, and they so much enjoyed the work that he had done for the chef that they too wanted their portraits done. And I don't remember all of them, but I remember the royal baker, the guy in charge of the king's pastries and sweet treats and the like. He also wanted his portrait done. Okay, so things are going to get interesting for Adrian van der Welde as he's being summoned to the castle. Okay, I think this is where we're going to stop for today. I think this is a good stopping point. I hope you were able to keep up. Like I said, stop, restart that video, pause it in certain areas, try to keep up with the drawing, And moving forward, we'll continue to develop and enhance this castle drawing. And I hope you're having fun. And I hope your Tuesday is going well. And of course, I'll be helping you every step of the way as we continue to work on our castle design. Like I said, if we don't get all of the remaining details in tomorrow on Wednesday's video, I can always put together a final piece on Thursday. Okay, so good luck with today's drawing lesson. Good luck with all of your school lessons. Happy drawing, and we will be talking to you in the very near future. Take care now. Thanks, kiddos. Bye-bye.